Shana Tova. It's great to see this place filled. So Rabbi Grafman's elevator. Rabbi Milton Grafman loved projects. Throughout his long historic tenure at Temple Emanu-El, he always had a strategy. He would wait and speak about his projects when the sanctuary was near capacity, the annual meeting, and especially the Hagim. I heard that at one Yontif, he made an appeal to the congregation for a new elevator. A new elevator in most congregations is synagogue language for a capital expenditure to improve the infrastructure. But as we know, Rabbi Grafman wasn't most rabbis. And this, our congregation, wasn't most congregations. He wanted a new elevator not for personal gain, but for the needs and ease of the congregation. And his finely tuned strategy continued with probably his most important fundraiser, asking the congregation to purchase an air conditioning system on the hottest day of the year. Though I regret I never met Rabbi Grafman, I'm always thrilled to listen to the stories about how he improved the place that he called his home, because this place mattered to him. Whether it was improving the physicality of the place or when he needed to create a new vision for the synagogue. At times, his vision wasn't popular, but he knew it was the right thing to do for this congregation, as well as our Judaism, and nothing would deter him. A perfect example about this was on November 15th, 1942. The Birmingham News published a story when Rabbi Grafman signed a proclamation not just supporting the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Eretz Yisrael, but also quite courageously rebuking so many Reform rabbis of the time who rejected the creation of the State of Israel. Signing this document was necessary to preserve the Jewish way. Rabbi Grafman made Temple Emanu-El a synagogue committed to the Zionistic cause. I promise I'm not going to use this time to fundraise for a capital expenditure. Like Rabbi Grafman, this place matters to me as your rabbi, a place that is my home, a place that I love. And I know this place especially matters to you. This place has been your refuge, a place to mourn, a place to celebrate Simchot, a place to link together 140 years of generational history and tradition. And these 3 years together, we've experienced so much. We experienced a staffing crisis and a pandemic. We welcome new faces and new voices, new programs, new prayer books, and new technology to enhance the worship experience. We have a great team in place, and therefore, as I start my 4th year with this congregation, it's my time to present a visionary statement about the future of our work at Temple Emanu-El. We do have hurdles. Jew hatred, Jews who are apathetic toward Israel, and equally important, Jews who are apathetic toward Jews. And because of these issues, we have the greatest threat to sustaining our Reform Judaism, which is the potential collapse of our movement. Since I became your rabbi in July 2019, I promise to be honest with this congregation. I want my vision to be on the record for all to hear. standing by every word. I'm not interested in what's popular. I want this congregation to flourish, and I want Judaism to be sustainable and meaningful. In order for this to happen, we must get back to God, Torah, and Israel. In 2013, the Pew Research Center showed a grim picture for Jewish life, highlighting the increase of American Jews identifying as secular. In addition, the study reflected a growing disconnection between American Jews and the state of Israel. To combat this real threat, Jewish leaders offered the best viable prescription to ensure the vitality of Jewish life for our future: investing in a robust Jewish education, and above all, sending our children to Jewish summer camp and to Israel. As simple as the solution was, it remained absent from the main focus of the reform movement. And it's not surprising that the latest Pew study in 2020 showed another distressing outlook. American Jews are more divided because of politics in the congregation. They are increasingly apathetic to Israel and show no interest in attending services. So how do we find ourselves in this predicament? To answer this question requires an honest assessment of the current state of Reform Judaism. The best and truthful answer is we are not living up to our Jewish potential. It's hyper-focused on political issues and social justice initiatives that are way beyond the scope of Judaism. I know we all have our passions about politics, and I know we have our passions about society and what programs we support. There's always a time and place for that. But the Bema cannot be a place to opine about politics. And although the Bema will not be a place for punditry, I want this congregation to hear me loud and clear. I passionately care. I want you to feel free to call me and share any of your thoughts and concerns. I always welcome you to do so. It's important for us to understand that the majority of American Jews want the synagogue to be a place of God, Torah, and Israel, a sanctuary away from the news of the day. It's my fervent belief that politics won't build Jewish communities, but rather, it's how we continue to push people away. And when we push people away, it has sidelined the tools to grow Jewish life. A perfect example of this is the closing of Camp Kutz, which was our 54-year-old summer camp for Reform Team Leadership Development. Congregational membership is dwindling. Many congregations face significant financial challenges. Some are closing its doors or considering merging with another shul. For example, Long Island was once an area where Reformed congregations thrived. Now it's mostly Orthodox. And here is the most troubling statistic that only proves what we're doing isn't working. Conservative Jews have the highest average of membership of 62 years old, compared to 53 years old for Reformed Jews, 35 years old for Orthodox Jews. We predict this number to get worse for both Reform and conservative movements if we don't redirect our focus on God, Torah, and Israel. Given the current state of Reform Judaism, I don't want this congregation to think for a single moment that I'm advocating the leaving of the Reform movement. I'm not a person who gives up change when it's needed. The good news is that Temple Emanu-El can and will be the spark that is needed to effect change. Reform Judaism doesn't mean less religious. And it most certainly doesn't mean being politically to the left or to the right. Since its inception over 200 years ago, Reform Judaism is about making an informed choice as to how we engage Jewish life, Jewish rituals, and halakha, Jewish law. This does not mean more Hebrew in the service. It does not mean that we are adding a second day of Yontif. And it does not mean that we are koshering the kitchen. Yet. It's about scholarship, study, and respectful debate. It's about getting back to the basics, focusing our main efforts again on God, Torah, and Israel. It's about investing heavily in Jewish education, youth groups, and making sure our kids go to Jewish summer camp and to Israel frequently. It's about participating in social action work that helps the poor through righteousness and loving kindness. It's about being inclusive and welcoming to all. It's about embracing our interfaith families. It's about celebrating together. And above all, the most important thing moving forward, to bring the joy of Judaism to us and to our community. I know that some of us are still wondering, how do we get younger members engaged? How do they find the joy of Judaism in the world consumed with scholastic pressure and extracurricular activities? How do we pass on the baton to the next cohort of Jewish leaders? We've thrown everything on the wall to see what sticks. Programs, more programs to get them involved, but nothing is sticking. And again, we find ourselves with another simple solution if we will listen and if we do. To the young parents, creating the new generation requires our families to invest in Jewish life. We can't afford to cut corners on this investment anymore. Our children must be more invested in their Jewish life than their chosen sport. The cold, hard truth is that our children won't be professional athletes. But you can count on one thing that is certain: they will be a Jew for their entire life. And to the rest of my congregation, I want you to look at me and nod your head in agreement that on this Rosh Hashanah, on this new year 5783, you will come to Shabbat services twice a month. We nodding? Because if you do this, programs will be attended, committees will be filled. This will be a house of joyous Judaism. In conclusion, I want to remind this congregation that you permeate this joy of Judaism. In December, we had 5 funerals in 6 days. Even with the Omicron variant knocking on our door, you showed up to comfort the families during their losses. Nothing was going to stop you. The frequency of funerals and shivas did not deter you from doing your Jewish duty, because you know the tenets of our tradition, especially during a loss, requires us to step up to the call. You didn't learn this by being a Republican. You didn't learn this by being a Democrat. You didn't learn this from cable news or any newspaper, or even on the sports team. You learned this from Torah. Rabbi Grafman wanted an elevator and an air conditioner because he knew it was needed for you. He signed his Zionist pledge despite the pressure because he knew Israel must be a part of our Jewish identity as a congregation moving forward. And so when I guess we really think about it, this is my elevator pitch to you. The pitch is simple. Temple Emanu-El, we're getting back on the path of God, Torah, and Israel, because this is what's best for us moving forward and for us to grow. When we're on the path of God, Torah, and Israel, these sacred walls will permeate the joys of Judaism. It's the joy that will bring you comfort. It's the joy that will bring you happiness. It's the joy that will bring you a good new year. It's the joy that will educate our children. It's the joy that will educate and inspire you. It's this joy that will provide a refuge to those who hurt. It's this joy that sustains and grows Jewish life. And it's the joy that fortifies these historic walls, Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. On this new year, the joy of Judaism is our mission. God, Torah, and Israel is our vision. We are ready to go. Shana Tova.